My name is Dan. For this tutorial, I'll be quickly just going through how to set up a 404 page for a React app bootstrapped with Create React App and using the latest version of React Router, version 6. Some of you who are already looking for this video are probably already aware about this new version and some of the big changes that come with it. However, this video is not going to go too in-depth about those changes. It's just simply an introduction into how React Router works by demonstrating how to set up a 404 page. I'll quickly set up a couple of different paths, and then you'll see how to configure React Router for some of those basic paths, including a home page, a static page, as well as a dynamic page, and as well as a 404 page. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and get started. First, you can also look up any documentation at reactrouter.com. You'll see this is the landing page. You can go to the documentation. You can go through a semi-tutorial. I don't really consider it a full tutorial, but it's pretty good to kind of get your hands dirty almost immediately. And as well as in the npm repository, you can find the actual React Router package. And download it from npm. So yeah, so we'll go ahead and we'll get started. So I'm using Visual Studio Code. So here I just have a basic folder to where I'll just make a directory. Let's just call it uh, 6 demo. Do that, and then we'll go into that directory. And then in here, we'll go ahead and we'll create our React app. So I'll just run npx create React app in the same location. Let it run. All right, so we've gone ahead and set up our base Create React app. If we open up the folder that we created, we'll see all the different files. We'll see a package that contains all the different modules and dependencies that we created. For this tutorial, I'm going to go ahead and just remove the test files since we won't really be needing those. Just move that to trash, and I'll also remove this app CSS because we won't really need that either. I'm just going to use the index.css file here, and then in here we're not going to use the code, so I'll just delete that. And then in app.js, this is just the default data that's created, so I'll go ahead and just remove everything in between app and just delete that, and then just type in my React app, and then we'll save that. And then if we do npm start, is going to start a new development page for me. Oh yeah, I need to remove that. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and if we go to our browser and just go to localhost 3000, we'll see that this is the same my React app that we had before. Okay, so now that we've confirmed that our application is working, we'll go ahead and just remove this as well since we're not using it, and save that. We can come in here. I like to just open up a second terminal window within the same page. I'll go ahead and I'll install the React router for DOM since we're using it on the browser. So we'll just target this specifically, and if you go through the tutorial, it'll walk you through the same thing. For npm, you can do this, and if you want to target the version 6 specifically, you do that @6. If you want to target a previous version, you would do the @ and then the version number, but for this case, just running npm install React Router, even without the @6, should install version 6 for us. So let's go ahead and we'll, in here, since we open a new pane, we need to, if we see that we're not in our actual project folder, we'll need to change directory into React Router v6 demo, and then now in here we can run install React Router. So once we do that, we'll go ahead and we'll see that in our package JSON, we'll see that React Router DOM version 6 was installed. So we're doing great so far. So as you follow the installation steps, there's some setup you need to do. You need to wrap your application with the router, the browser router that's pulled from React Router DOM. And so as you can see, this is the demonstration here. This is going to be the index.js file. So all we need to do is just import browser router from React Router DOM, and then just wrap our app with that browser router. So if we go to index.js, and then we'll just come down here and just do import React browser router from React Router DOM. And I misspelled that. Right. Browser. Yep. Okay. Come in here, and for now, I'm just gonna wrap it inside here like that. Just like that. And then, so this is what will give the context of the routing to our application. So this is the first most crucial step, right? So once we've done that, now we can go into our app.js file, or if you want to create like a specific component just for routing, and import that routing application into your app.js in case you want to just nest maybe like a navigation in the footer. That way they all show up on every single page. You can do that as well, but for our case, we'll make it really simple. We'll just do everything in app.js, and then so we'll come in here to our app.js file, and then we'll just wrap this in a h1 tag. And then in here, we need to just import a couple of things. So in here, what we need to import will be routes, the actual route itself, and a link. So we're going to go ahead and just import all three of these. So we'll do routes, import, routes, route, and link from React Router DOM. So once we've done that, we need to go ahead and just add our routes tag. And then in the routes tag, we'll go ahead and we'll just do a specific route. And this time, this one will just be to the home page. And we'll, instead of doing it like that, since we're not wrapping anything, let's just do it as a single thing there. And it's actually not to, it's path. Confused with the link tag. So now we'll see the route is not really working because it's not generating anything. If we refresh this, we see that the h1 tag takes effect, but even this, we are routing to the home page. It's not doing anything here because we're not loading any component or any element in this case. So what we'll go ahead and do in our source tab, I'll go ahead and just create a components folder, and then in this components folder, I will create a home page component. So in here, I have a shortcut for stateless functional component, and I'll just name it home. And then to return this, I'll just return some simple data here. This is the home page, and then save that. And then back in our app file, I'll go ahead and I'll import home from that component file. So now once we do that, we can come in here and say element equals to the component that we want to write to, in this case home page component. Once we save that and we go back to our application, we'll see that the home page now routes to the home page. Now let's add a second page just to show our routing in action here. Okay, so we'll go ahead and under the components, I'll create a new file and just say second.js stateless functional component. second div, this is the second page. We'll save that, come in here, do the same import, second, and then here we'll just add a new route, and then the path will be second, element will be the element that we want to route to, in this case second, and then we'll just close that route tag, and then we'll save it. So now when we come in here and we route to the second page, we see that this is the second page is loading up perfectly. All right, now, so how do we catch for 4 pages? Because right now, if I was to do something like third, you see it just shows up a blank, but maybe we wanted to show, you know, we don't want to show anything. So this is where with the newer version of React Router, it gets pretty nice. So we'll just create a new component and just say not found. We'll just call it not found for now. Stateless functional component, not found. And then we'll just add a simple data here. Page not found. Code 404. Let me just change that to status 404. We'll save that. So now in app.js, under the routes, wherever you have your routes defined, we'll go ahead and import that component, not found. And then here is where the magic happens. It's really simple. Route path star to catch all. And then the element that we want will be not found. Close that tag, save it. So now that anytime we do anything that doesn't exist, it'll just show not found, not found, not found. Okay, so this is the home page, second home page. Now, so for the final thing, let's say we have a page that depends on specific data. Maybe there's a parameter you pass in the URL to render specific data. So let's go ahead and just create that. We'll call it dynamic.js. Same thing, dynamic, and then here we'll just let me do this div. This is dynamic page. We'll save that. There's one hook that we can use with React Router that works really well. This will be, we'll just import use params from React Router. And so once we save that, we can come back to our router here and we'll just say something like route path dynamic, and then let's say we pass some sort of ID. Okay, element, we'll import dynamic. Save that. Now in the dynamic page, we'll just come in here and we'll just pull that ID from the use params hook, and we can go ahead and pass that ID there. So now that we have that, I'll go ahead and just remove this link for now. Now that we have that, we'll see that if we do something like FDS, that still works. It doesn't matter with the order again, like I said, it won't matter. That's one of the great things about v6. If I do dynamic, we'll see that it's still showing up 4.4 because it has to be exactly with some parameter passed. So now if I pass the parameter, you'll see that it does catch it. So you see that it bypassed even the 4.4 catch and still went, and it was smart enough to know, okay, this still exists, and it caught it. It Doesn't matter if I put this last. We'll see that it'll still work as expected from before. If I put this first, it'll still work as expected. But once I remove those parameters, then it won't catch it. Once I do anything, it won't catch it. If I go home, it will still go home. If I go to the second page, it'll still go to the second page. So this is the beauty of React Router version 6, at least in my opinion. But the simplest way to put this to catch and create full 4 pages, all you need to do is include a route for a catch-all with an asterisk and just pass in that element you want to render. Obviously, this is not styled in any kind of way, but you get the basics.